With the Democratic convention ongoing as anti-Trump Republicans decide to speak for Democrats, and Democrats, of course, let them, the Republican convention has decided who will speak for them. And the choices are already pretty bad. Now, it was recently announced that two of the speakers will be Mark and Patricia McCluskey. They will be speaking at the Trump virtual campaign event next week. Because in reality, of course, the Republican primary was canceled. They already knew who they were going with. They were going with Donald Trump, of course. And so they're going to have the RNC convention, virtual convention, next week. And they're, again, lining up speakers. Now, the McCluskeys are now going to be speaking at the event and will also be endorsing Donald Trump for re-election. So if you're not familiar with these people, remember, these are the people that were aiming guns at Black Lives Matter protesters that were passing by their house. That's it. I know they were claiming like, oh no, the Black Lives Matter protesters are violent. They broke into our gated community. In reality, the gate was already open. They didn't bust down the gate. They just kind of walked right in. And they weren't even heading there. They were actually heading towards, I believe it was the mayor's house, to go and demonstrate in front of that. But as they passed by, these guys decided to come out and start pointing guns. I'm surprised that the man didn't shoot his own dick off with that thing. I mean, come on, dude. You can't even hold the gun the correct way. Terrible. Idiots. But hey, they got a lot of praise. Everybody loves them on the right because, you were pointing guns at Black Lives Matter protesters. You know, the actual violent ones, right? Who were unarmed. They didn't have weapons, but these guys did. Yeah, pistol packing Karen and Darren, or Karen and Ken, whatever you want to say. So now, interestingly enough, they were charged with felonies for unlawful uses of a weapon. Look, I went through, gun safety, right? And so you don't aim a weapon at someone unless you intend to use it. Okay. These people were pointing weapons. You know how easily it could have went off and somebody would have been shot and killed? I mean, they have no idea what they're doing. There should be mandatory gun safety classes for anybody who wants to own a weapon. Because if not, I mean, you're going to kill somebody. And they almost did. They could have easily. And thankfully they didn't. Now, they did get charged with felonies, but the charges came, of course, after Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner launched an investigation into the couple over the incident. However, if that were to happen, if they were to get felonies, Missouri Governor Mike Parson would pardon them. So in reality, no justice, not for them. But if black people, of course, did the same thing, then they would not get a pardon. So it's all political. It's all bullshit. So now there's that. But there's another speaker that we know of that has been announced, and that's coming in high school student Nicholas Sandman. So Nicholas Sandman had confirmed that he would be speaking at the 4-day event, writing, "I can't tell you all enough how excited I am to be a part of this year's RNC." Now, Sandman, of course, went viral after having a confrontation with a Native American protester. It was somewhat mischaracterized in the media by the Washington Post. And so this man had sued the Washington Post for $250 million. One, because Washington Post had settled, and now he gets to speak at the RNC. So now he's like super rich, and he's flying high. And of course, conservative media has made him a darling. Man, I don't know about you guys, but boy, RNC going to be lit this year. I mean, you got the MAGA teens and racist gun people. You got somebody named Abby Johnson, who apparently used to work for Planned Parenthood and now, of course, is against abortion, an anti-choice advocate. Of course, as we know, one of the biggest advocates for being against a woman's right to choose, we find out was paid for it. What was paid for. So I wonder if this is something similar. Somebody came at her with a better offer. And then you have Andrew Pollock, father of a victim in Parkland. Interestingly enough, because you would think that somebody who lost their child to Parkland would be in favor of sensible gun regulation that 90% of NRA members agree with. Things like simple background checks that the Republican Party opposes. So that's an interesting choice. Sean Parnell, combat veteran and candidate for Congress in Pennsylvania. I don't know too much about him. In fact, I don't look. I'm not familiar with a lot of these people, and I'll be honest with you. Right. That said, what I can tell you is that this is shaping up to be Woodstock for aggrieved white people, which is completely on brand for the modern Republican Party. So much so that, I've dubbed it White Stock. So that's going to happen next week. And be sure that it's going to be filled with a lot of coded racism and white grievance identity politics. I can guarantee it.